Hey everyone, my name is Ankur Warikoo. I'm an internet entrepreneur, a content creator, a teacher, a mentor. I'm also a father. I also love spending time with startups. I also love playing sports. I love to meditate. I love to read. I love to write. I also occasionally sing. And when you hear about all of these things that I get done in a day, quite often, a lot of people reach out and it's like, how do you accomplish so much in the 24 hours that you have? And I will admit it wasn't easy. It wasn't by far anything that came naturally to me. So for the last 11 years, I think the biggest thing that I wanted to get done was take control of my time. Because I knew that if I could take control of my time, take charge of my time, I could accomplish anything that I set my mind to. And I stand here today as a living example of someone who did not respect time as much, saw how that affected me adversely. And then today I am an absolute strong proponent of how owning time is possibly the only thing worth owning and what big a difference it makes to one's life. And what I wanted to do today is share 3 tips that I believe have helped me tremendously understand the concept of time. And these 3 tips will help you, once you get to know them, in how you manage your own time. So let's get started. Tip number 1, time is an allocation. Let me tell you what I mean by that. There's a fantastic book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And in that book, he introduces a concept of the Eisenhower matrix. So imagine a square and break the square into 4 equal parts, so 4 squares. And on the x-axis, with the bottom line, you ask yourself a question, is the thing that I'm supposed to do important or not? And on the y-axis, the standing line, you ask yourself this question, is this thing that I'm supposed to do urgent or not? And then suddenly you have these 4 quadrants, right? And here's what the matrix told you. The matrix basically said, if something's not urgent or not important, drop it. Don't attend to it. And then it said, if it's anything that is urgent and important, attend to it. Because it is important and it is clearly urgent. If there's anything that is important but not urgent, schedule it. Which means you can postpone it for later, you can park it for some other time, you can calendar it, whatever it is. And then if something is urgent but not important, delegate it. Give it to someone else to do it. When I read this for the first time, it was like an aha moment. It was like, this is the most clear description of how to manage my time, and I fell in love with it. So I spent my time in just recording my time. Every single day, every hour of what I was doing was recorded. And I did that for close to 5 years of my life. I have Excel sheets, I have notebooks where I've clearly written, woke up at this time, did this, did this. Now what was the intention of it? Each of the things that I was doing in that hour need to go into one of these 4 quadrants of the Eisenhower matrix. And then I asked myself, what is my allocation? In these 4 quadrants, where does my time go? And I realized that there was a mix. It was not 0 for things that are neither urgent nor important. And it wasn't 100% for things that were both urgent and important. And that was the first step towards me even beginning to understand what my time does to me. It's an allocation. In a week, about 50% of my time goes towards things which, in my opinion, are important but not urgent. What are the things that are important but not urgent? Exercising, reading, writing, pursuing your hobby. These are important things. They feed your soul. They get you back to the basics, but they're not urgent. If you were not to exercise today, your life will be still fine. And then about 25% of my time goes towards things that are important and urgent. That's my work. That's something that I have to attend to. And about 15% of my time goes towards things which are urgent but not important. Something broke in the house. My boss called me, whosoever, I need to attend to it. It's not important, but it is urgent at that point of time. And then about 10% goes towards things that are neither urgent nor important. This allocation works for me. And the first step that you need to do to take charge of your time, to figure out what does time do to you, is to find your allocation. And that will be the first step and the first tip towards taking charge of your time. The second concept of time, the second tip towards managing your time. Time is energy. Time is energy. When we say to our own selves or to the world that I don't have time to do something, what we really mean is that we don't have the energy to do it. Energy in what form? 4 forms. Physical energy, And that's determined by when do you eat, how much do you sleep, whether you exercise or not, whether you eat right or not, and all the physical attributes towards giving yourself the physical energy that we all know of. Mental energy. Mental energy comes in from the fact that you actually are spending time doing things that feed your soul, whether it's meditation, whether it's even sleeping the right hours. Emotional energy. What kind of conversations do you have with your own self? Are you generally a positive person? Do you believe in your own self? And then finally, spiritual energy. How is your worldview towards how you approach things? Are you generally honest? Are you generally committed? And when you think about these four aspects of energy, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, you recognize how this time allocation, which was the first concept we spoke about, lends itself to the second one. I'll give you an example. I wake up really early in the day. I sleep very early in the day. And this is a bonus tip that you can take as part of the second one. The trick to waking up early is sleeping on time. And that is the hardest thing to do in today's world because there's so many distractions that are just constantly seducing you and telling you, hey, give me your time, give me your attention. So I wake up really early and my first few hours of the day are just spent on attending to my own self. I meditate, I read, I write, I practice my singing, I go for my gym, I come back, have a really nice breakfast, I get ready. And by the time I start my day at about 9:30 or so, I've had 5 hours to myself doing things that I want to do. These are things that in my opinion are important but not urgent. Even if I choose not to do them or there is a day when I don't do them, the world's still fine. No one's unhappy. But whenever I do these things, and I do them almost 99% of the times, I am just at the peak of my energy. And when I start my day then at 9:30, everything's in order. When I discovered this concept of time as energy, it stayed with me in a way that perhaps nothing else has. So time is energy. Focus on the 4 energies that I spoke about and ask yourself, what is it that you can do during a day that uplifts you in each of these 4 energy segments? And if you're able to do that, you'll be miraculously sitting with a lot more time than you thought you have. And then the final tip, the third and the most important one, which we hear quite often, but I don't think too many of us know exactly what it means, is that time is money. Time is money. Here's a very stark, harsh way of looking at life. If there is one thing that everyone in the world has in equal amount, it is time. There is virtually no difference in how much time one has. Elon Musk has the same time, so does Jeff Bezos or Roger Federer or whosoever is it that you fancy, that you would want to be. They have the exact same 24 hours that you have. It's not that they're blessed with more time, it's what they do with their time and how they look at it, which makes all the difference. But go back to where they were when they started. That was perhaps the same way that you are as well. What different choices did they make when it came to that point of time in their life that set them up for today's success? But we don't think of it like that. We always think like time is infinite. And this is something that I used to do. I remember we grew up in a very humble family, never had enough money. So for me, it was very important to save money. And I used to spend a day traveling from where I used to stay to Nai Sarak just to save 100, 200 rupees. And the entire day used to go there. But I thought that was the best use of my time because I didn't have any value of my own time. And back then, perhaps there wasn't any value of my time. So for me to spend that money used to be the right decision to make. But it's crazy how many people still continue to do that when it should be the other way around. You should be spending money to save your time because time is the only asset that you have. And once it's gone, you can never get it back. Never get it back. Time is money. Every single hour of yours. So in summary, when you look at your time and when I looked at mine, these 3 tips, as I said, have helped me tremendously. I'm certain they will help you as well. Start the journey today. Take charge of your time.